Coming up next, a spike in sexual assaults on Penn State's main campus is leaving some students on edge.
Plus, football finally returns to Memorial Field and State College tonight after a multi-million-dollar renovation.
And a Penn State grad is going viral thanks to a song he wrote about a fan favorite.
They call me Chase McSorley.
The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Kennedy Miller. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report.
And I'm Hunter Pitkoff. Penn State has seen a recent spike in sexual assault reports at University Park. Police are investigating as the incidents raise safety concerns on campus. Emily Kyler has more.
Since August, 7 forcible sex offenses have been reported to the Penn State Police on the University Park campus. Earlier last Saturday morning, 3 more separate assaults were reported, 2 of them in the East Hall dorms and the other in the Nittany apartments. All 3 are still under investigation. Freshman Rachel Tesmer feels like the pandemic hasn't helped the problem.
Especially now, because when they happen, it's more at night, and we're not really allowed to go other places during over the weekend. It's not as open as it was in previous years. So we are all confined to the same space. So it would make sense that it would be more likely because we're all in the same area.
Police continue to remind students about the resources and services available on campus for anyone in trouble. One of them as simple as a push of a button.
There are 81 blue lights across the campus like this one behind me to get in contact with the Penn State Police. There is no keypad or dialing involved. You press the red button and your call lasts for 3 minutes.
Along with the blue light call boxes, there are more than 200 emergency phones in campus buildings, parking garages, resident halls, and outdoor locations to connect you with police. Another resource for victims is a hotline number to call for help, Center Safe.
We have all sorts of advocates, we have legal advocates, child advocates, therapists, and group counseling, all of these different programs that help people at all different steps of the process.
Center Safe offers help to victims, friends, and family too. Penn State Police and organizations are proactively trying to get students the help they need during an already stressful year. In University Park, I'm Emily Kyler for the Center County Report.
Penn State releases its annual security reports with crime statistics every fall. But this year, the U.S. Department of Education extended the deadline to the end of December because of the pandemic.
We have some breaking news right now. Center County's new COVID numbers are out. They show 31 new cases for the county, bringing the total to 3,322 since March. And the death total is now up to 12 after a 90-year-old woman died this week at a local healthcare facility.
Today, Governor Wolf's new crowd restriction limits for indoor and outdoor events go into effect. The new capacity limits are based on venue size. Indoor venues will be allowed no more than 3,750 people, and outdoor will be capped at 7,500. The Pittsburgh Steelers announced plans to host fans this weekend, and local high schools have the option for more fans.
The pandemic has affected businesses across Pennsylvania, and the hotel industry has been especially hard hit. I checked in with some central PA hotels to see how they're doing.
This year hasn't been so sweet for the Hershey Lodge, here in the town, famous for chocolate.
Normal capacity, we'd have about 100%, and not normally, the new normal would be about 50% kind of. So, we've definitely pushed forward in terms of, adjusting to the new restrictions.
Tourism has taken a major hit. In fact, a recent national survey showed nearly 9 in 10 hotels have been forced to lay off or furlough employees during the pandemic. And more than half of 600 hotel owners surveyed said they're in danger of losing their property to foreclosure. Hershey Lodge says it's lost a lot of convention business too. But right now, it's focusing on the guests it does have. And the primary goal is safety. That means temperature checks and masks are required. They've also changed some employee shifts.
Some of the shifts have been kind of spread out as well, just to ensure that not too many people are working at the same time. So we do have people that are working from home if they're able to.
It has been a tough year for the hospitality industry. Even in Penn State's highly populated town, hotels such as the Courtyard and Marriott did not meet full capacity this year for Parents' Day weekend. Christine Shizipta, manager of the Residence Inn, tells us why hotel revenue may be decreasing.
So occupancy is definitely impacted with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of that is purely based on what state you live in. For example, Pennsylvania, we're in a state where each county has a different color code system that allows us to operate under normal or modified restrictions.
In State College, no fans at Penn State football games also means a major drop in visitors during what's normally the busiest time of the year.
Hershey Lodge is hopeful that business will increase during the holidays, especially with Governor Wolf's increase on capacity limits.
Schools are also doing their best to get through this pandemic year. And for special ed students and teachers, there are extra challenges. I looked into how State College schools are adjusting.
Nice, that's better.
This is Emma Miller doing what she calls parking lot therapy. The 14-year-old still tries to stay active even during the pandemic. Her mother, Jamie, says it felt like survival mode when the coronavirus first hit, but says her daughter is actually thriving in some areas, like reading.
It is focused in a quiet room. The teacher is there by themselves, and Emma's here. We make sure our environment at home is completely quiet. So it is just the two of them with zero distractions.
Despite the difficulties, the State College School District Special Education Director, Heather Pringle, applauds the resiliency teachers and families have shown this year.
I've never seen teachers work this hard. I think if you ask any one of them, they'll say that we couldn't have planned for this. None of us have a playbook for educating any student during a pandemic.
The State College Area School District is offering 3 different education models to their students this year. Those being the virtual academy, remote learning, and in-person classes. It's up to the families to decide which of these 3 models works best for them. The district even offered a special learning center while schools were fully remote. Miller says her daughter is staying remote this year because of the increased risk she has of getting sick. She says the biggest challenge was getting Emma to understand the sudden changes in her everyday life, but says she's now good after getting into a new routine. Also today, Bellefonte High School and middle schools are closed because 2 people tested positive for COVID.
Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Pat Toomey announced this week he'll retire from public office when his term ends in 2 years. Jeremy Gaines looks into what Toomey's decision means for Pennsylvania politics.
Although Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Pat Toomey's term won't end until 2022, it's already crunch time for Republicans to plan how to replace one of their top allies. Toomey's decision to step down and not run for governor took some in the party by surprise. I talked with Penn State political science professor and director of the McCourtney Institute for Democracy about what Toomey's retirement means for the GOP.
But if they had a bad election and they become fewer in number, they will become more Trumpian.
He believes, similar to how many moderate Republicans in the House lost in 2018, the GOP senators most in danger of losing re-election this November are also moderates. And he says that may leave a smaller, more conservative group in the Senate. Toomey's decision also has larger geographic implications. There are only 2 Republican senators in the northeastern U.S., and he's one of them. The other is Susan Collins of Maine.
If Susan Collins loses, which I'd call a 50-50 proposition, then there won't be any. That'll be the end of the Republican Party from probably Virginia to Maine.
Toomey's retirement not only has an impact at the federal level, but here in Pennsylvania, at places like the Center County GOP office, which is right behind me. He's one of the only elected Republicans in the state, and his eventual absence could complicate conservatives' efforts to compete in statewide elections.
Republicans have had a very hard time statewide in Pennsylvania over the last few years. Pat Toomey is the exception, so he would have been a strong candidate.
Pennsylvania Republicans are left to search for new candidates to fill Toomey's soon-to-be vacant Senate seat and replace Tom Wolf as governor in 2022. In State College, I'm Jeremy Gaines For the Center County Report.
Senator Toomey is joining with former Democratic Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell and calling for congressional term limits.
Most of Center County is now considered in a severe drought, according to the new U.S. Drought Monitor numbers. But even though it's abnormally dry, it's also colorful. We're now hitting the peak of fall foliage season. With more on the foliage, Jacob?
Thanks, Hunter. Yeah, I'm live right outside the studio here in Innovation Park, where it's that time of year when the leaves are starting to change their color on the trees. And if we take a look at the fall foliage report across Pennsylvania, we're in the peak time of year for those fall foliage colors across most of Pennsylvania. Peak timing across the central part of the state, including the Central Mountains and Laurel Highlands. Near peak conditions in the western part of the state, and just starting to change in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. So this is a great next couple of days to get outside and enjoy the fall foliage that's on a lot of the trees here in the central part of the state. We're going to send it back into the studio with Kennedy.
Thanks, Jacob. Still to come on the Center County Report, a former Penn State football legend goes viral, thanks to a song by a former student. Also coming up, controversy over Columbus Day. Hundreds of years after his travels to the New World, why some want his holiday gone, and how Pennsylvania is reacting.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bells are buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Monday is Columbus Day, a legal state holiday in Pennsylvania. But there's a growing trend around the country to replace Columbus Day with something else. Ariel Simpson reports from Philadelphia.
Cities like Philadelphia idolize a lot of heroes, from the fictional Rocky Balboa to real-life sports and historical figures.
This brings me to where I stand today, the former Christopher Columbus Monument, which was removed this past year. And it leaves some wondering, if this statue was removed, then why does the holiday still stand in our state?
Hundreds of years after his voyage across the Atlantic and Caribbean, Christopher Columbus was honored with a federal holiday every October. But in recent years, more critics are taking aim at the explorer and the holiday, saying his treatment of indigenous people, including slavery and violence, is no cause for celebration.
Columbus's discoveries and these celebrations that we attach to him actually did, the long-term consequences of that were massive depopulation of native peoples, not only through disease, but also through warfare and resistance.
Some states have recognized Indigenous Peoples Day, either alongside or replacing Columbus Day. Arizona is among the states that will recognize the day this year, but Pennsylvania does not.
But I would argue that's a baby step in terms of what the kinds of reckoning and the kinds of knowledge seeking and reciprocity perhaps we need to have to kind of make sense of all this.
Indigenous people make up only 0.19% of Pennsylvania's population. But Reed says it's important to recognize their culture and its relevance to our state.
We need to stop thinking about Native American history as being something that existed in the past, and that there are vibrant Native communities and peoples that exist today.
There is hope Pennsylvania will soon join the list of states celebrating Native people. I'm Ariel Simpson for the Center County Report.
As of now, 14 states and more than 130 cities celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day in place of or alongside Columbus Day.
Well, it's a great day to get outside, a gorgeous day outside as we take a live look outside at Mount Nittany. Some of those fall foliage colors that I mentioned earlier in the show popping on the trees out there, and plenty of blue sky, another dry day. Good day to get outside with temperatures across the state in the mid 50s to approaching the 60-degree mark. And as I mentioned, plenty of sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine across the Commonwealth. And if we take a broader view across the entirety of the country, not a whole lot of weather happening, plenty of blue skies from coast to coast. The only real story is down south with Hurricane Delta approaching the Gulf Coast, approaching an area that was impacted by Hurricane Laura about a month ago. Right now, a Category 3 hurricane with estimated winds at around 115 miles per hour, and it's forecasted to make landfall in western Louisiana later this evening and into the early hours of tomorrow morning before moving up into the Tennessee River Valley by Sunday morning, and then eventually the remnants from Delta will make it up into our part of the country and bring us some much needed rain by the time we get into the second half of your weekend and the beginning of next week. But first, plenty of sunshine throughout the day today. A great day to get outside and enjoy the fall foliage that's peaking across the state. A few high-level clouds pass through the area tonight before a little bit more cloudiness in the western part of the state tomorrow, but overall a mixture of clouds and sunshine for your day on Saturday with much warmer temperatures ahead of a cold front that's going to be sagging southward across parts of northern Pennsylvania Saturday night, but most of the day on Saturday will stay dry. That'll be the case for Sunday too. Most of the day on Sunday is dry, just some more clouds ahead of the remnants of Hurricane Delta. And as the remnants of Delta continue to track northeastward, we'll start to see some scattered showers in our area by Sunday afternoon, especially into Sunday evening. Widespread rain across the Commonwealth by the time you're waking up on Monday morning for work or to classes. You'll definitely need the umbrella on Monday throughout the day with periods of moderate to heavy rain before the remnants of Delta move eastward and out of our area by the time we get into the afternoon hours on Tuesday. Today we'll warm up to a high of 68, abundant sunshine. As I mentioned, a great day to enjoy the foliage. Tonight, a low of 53 with mostly clear skies. And then tomorrow, warming up to a high of 77, around 15 degrees above average, very mild for your first half of your weekend. Then those remnants of Delta move in for Sunday, Monday, and lingering showers for Tuesday before the sunshine returns Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to send it over to Summer with sports.
The Eagles and Steelers are going head-to-head this weekend. Which team can say they're the best in Pennsylvania? That's next in sports. Also, State High football is back on the newly renovated Memorial Field. I talked with a senior and team captain to see how the team is adjusting to so much change this season.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in. Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, you talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I'm Summer Thomas with sports. The State High Little Lions play their first home game tonight at the newly renovated Memorial Field. The team is gearing up for a Friday night that will be different than seasons past. Center County. But things will look much different for the Little Lions this season. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic means no packed stands at Memorial Field. In fact, no fans are allowed at all. Only players, friends, and family. But it's still a special night as the team plays its first game at the $12 million newly renovated Memorial Field. Last year, State High played at the South Track behind the school, which caused several adjustments to be made.
Everybody just felt so comfortable in Memorial Field, and how are we going to replicate that experience for those kids and coaches and families on South Track, which only had like 200 seats.
Despite the governor's revised stadium capacity regulations allowing for more fans outdoors, the district's own safety plan means no public tickets will be sold here at Memorial Field. And even the surrounding park above the stadium will be closed to the public. But senior and captain Steven Gudoff says he and his teammates are just lucky to have the opportunity to play.
A lot of us never thought we'd get to this point. I mean, there was a lot of doubt, and we just kept working, and we're finally here, and it's just exciting to be able to put the pads on and play on a Memorial. We didn't know if Memorials can be done. We didn't know if we'd be able to suit up and play, and everything kind of fell together, and here we are.
Although local fans can't come to the game, the school says it will stream the game live and hold a live watch event at North Athletic Field, so people can watch and support the Little Lions at home or with other members of the community. The Little Lions are coming off last week's loss against 2-0 Central Dauphin and are looking to get their first win of the season tonight. State High versus Cumberland Valley tonight. Other Center County teams will also be playing. Bald Eagle will go to Phillipsburg Osceola, undefeated Tyrone will play at Penns Valley, and winless Huntington and Bellefonte will square off. All those games are scheduled for 7 p.m. kickoffs. Penn State football returns in 2 weeks, and the team is starting to picture what this season is going to look like. Even with Governor Wolf's eased restrictions on stadium attendance, Beaver Stadium will still be without fans this season. Coach James Franklin is preparing the Lions for a quiet stadium.
Obviously, we all know Beaver Stadium with no one in there is very different, and not just for the visiting team, coming, also for what we're used to. So, we're going to start practicing like that. We're going to start practicing in Beaver Stadium a little bit more. We're going to start turning the music off, where usually we spend so much time trying to get prepared for crowd noise and things like that. These are all things that, we're just going to have to get used to, kind of the new normal.
Kickoff for the season opener in Indiana is still yet to be announced. The Eagles and Steelers are preparing for the Battle of Pennsylvania on Sunday, but each team is coming off a very different Week 4 of the NFL season. The Eagles narrowly beat the 49ers in a scrappy matchup, while the Steelers got a bye week because their game with the Titans was postponed due to Titans players testing positive for COVID-19. The injury-ridden Eagles have been without starting wideouts Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey for a couple weeks now, while the undefeated Steelers will come into Sunday's game with a mostly healthy team. Penn State hockey is officially returning next month. The Nittany Lions will drop the puck on a 28-game schedule. It includes 4 matchups with each of the other 6 Big Ten teams, plus 4 games with Arizona State. The conference tournament will happen in March with all conference teams qualifying and a single elimination format. Hockey will follow the same health procedures as other Big Ten sports, including daily testing and health screening. Tickets will not be sold to the public. For sports, now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Summer. Coming up next, how a former Nittany Lion quarterback is making a resurgence on social media, and the recent Penn State grad who sparked the viral video.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Former Penn State quarterback Trace McSorley is all over social media this week. But what's the reason? DJ Bauer takes a look at the man and the song that started this sensation.
One Penn State sports icon is back in the public eye, and his name is Trace McSorley. Fans know McSorley as one of the university's all-time great quarterbacks. But why is the now NFL backup trending all over social media? For that, you can thank Matty Fresh.
He's my favorite quarterback of all time. I mean, he was a legend. He was a hero here.
Matt Freiler, known by his musical nickname Matty Fresh, is a recent Penn State broadcast journalism graduate. But that's not his only interest. As far back as 2014, Freiler has written and performed a number of rap music parodies. 2 years ago, he released Trace McSorley to hype up the quarterback's senior season. But now, Trace McSorley has resurfaced, as it was featured in a TikTok video from the official NFL account last weekend. Since then, Freiler's original YouTube video has exploded with nearly 1 million views in just the past week.
I can't believe it. I thought that with something like this, that maybe I wouldn't get much credit. So the fact that people are actually going on Google or YouTube, wherever they're going, and finding it, that's really cool.
Just like McSorley, Matty Fresh is back in the public spotlight. But the question still remains, will he ever return to the mic again?
I know everyone's asking, do a Sean Clifford song, something about Pratt Fryermuth. It's not about that. We can't just do this every year, or it's going to be more about me than it is about the players. So to the players, I would say you got to earn it.
With Penn State football set to return this month, maybe one player will turn enough heads to warrant a new Matty Fresh beat. In State College, I'm DJ Bauer for the Center County Report.
Filer currently lives in State College, while McSorley remains the third-string quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
And that's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com. Our next newscast is on Tuesday, but you can follow us anytime for breaking news on Twitter. That's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Have a good weekend.